Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to call the meeting to order. If you both stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Hands over your heart and begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, Madam Clerk, if you would give us the roll call.
Councilmember Bill De La Pena.
Present.
Councilmember Engler.
Present.
Councilmember Jones.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Adam.
Here.
And Mayor McCoy is absent.
Yeah, Mayor McCoy has been delayed. His flight was either canceled or delayed, one of the two, but he sends his regards and his regrets he can't be here tonight. My name's Al Adam. I'm the Mayor Pro Tem, so I'm going to attempt to run the meeting in his stead. Thank you. I don't believe there's any requests for continuance in any public hearings, so I'm going to go down and make a special presentation. Premier park districts in the state, if not the entire country. And you can applaud for that. And I have some representatives from our park district here tonight. If you all step down, we have Tom Hare, administrator, and we have board members Chuck Huffer, George Lang, Susan Holt, Nellie Cusworth, and Doug Nichols. Thank you for being here tonight. As I understand it, we have, it's an incredible number to me, 60 parks, is that right, Tom? Yes. 60 parks, and with a 61st on the way. That's Conejo Creek Southwest. 61 parks, that's going to be just about a park for every neighborhood we have here in the city of Thousand Oaks. An incredible achievement, and it's been wonderful working with the Conejo Park District as a city council. So who wants to come up and talk a little about the topic tonight, which is Park and Recreation Month? That going to be you, Chuck?
That would be me.
All right.
Mayor Pro Tem Adam, members of the City Council, thank you very much for your recognition this evening. The interest, the priority that the city has in parks and recreation has been obvious for years and years. Tonight's agenda is probably a perfect example, not only with the proclamation this evening, but a little later in the agenda, one of your consent items is 3 agreements dealing with the Teen Center and the Goebel Center, the Adult Center that the city and the Park District have been working on together for years and years, I believe since 1985. And then finally, one of the other agenda items is going to be the Memory Garden that the city and the Park District will be working on together, hopefully in time for the anniversary this coming November. So the partnership that the city and the Park District have had has been great, whether it's from way back in the early to mid 80s with the Costco open space, more recently with the, just 2 weeks ago, we celebrated the 10th anniversary of the CLU pool, which was a partnership amongst the city, the Park District, and Cal Lutheran. The programs that we've been putting on, your help, your critical help in making the Sapway Trails Community Park a reality last year, with the funding that you provided. There are so many examples of what the city has done in partnership with the Park District. We just wanted to thank you for the recognition and thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Chuck. On behalf of the City Council, let me present to you this proclamation, which I can boil down to one sentence for outstanding. I'm sure you would appreciate that. Outstanding service and contribution to our community. Thank you. And thanks each one of the board members for all the hours and time you put in. Susan, fantastic. Doug, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, Tom. why don't we give this to you, and we'll have a picture. What do you think?
Okay.
All right?
Oh, can I put my purse down?
You certainly can. It'll be safe, don't worry.
I think so. Okay, who's sitting where?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to our public comment segment of the evening. Madam Clerk, if you would announce public comments.
This is a time and place for public comments. A speaker card is available for those wishing to address the City Council regarding items on the agenda or on a subject within the city's jurisdiction. All remarks should be addressed to the council as a whole, and all documents for City Council and the official record should be presented to the city clerk prior to speaking. Speakers are requested to state their name and community of residence for the record. Under state law, public comment matters may not be considered by the council unless listed on the agenda, but may be referred to the city manager for administrative follow-up. 13 individuals have presented cards, and pursuant to council standards, speakers are allowed 3 minutes. The yellow light displays when you have 1 minute remaining.
Thank you. So as she said, our speakers have 3 minutes this evening, and I will announce a couple names. So if the second name would come down to the front, we can move things along rapidly. First up, Mike Hauser, followed by J.D. Slashard. Hey, Mike.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of the council. Mike Hauser. I'm an analyst in the city's Public Work Department, and I wanted to advise the council and give you an update on our summer beach bus program. This is our 7th year of offering this service to the community, and it provides twice daily round trips, Monday through Friday, from Thousand Oaks to Zuma Beach in Malibu. This year's program operates from June 10th to August 9th, except for July 3rd and 4th. And the Summer Beach Bus is one of several bus services that are provided by Thousand Oaks Transit, and it's available on a first-come, first-served basis with no reservations required. You simply show up at the bus stop and you can board. The cost is $3 each way. We have a discount fare for seniors and the disabled of $1.50. And we have 2 convenient pickup locations in Thousand Oaks, and that's at the Borchard Community Center and also at the Teen and Senior Centers. Now, we don't use standard transit buses for this service, but rather we use the nicer motor coaches, which have individual seats, seat belts, and plenty of space for your beach accessories, such as your chairs, your umbrellas, and even your surfboards up to 6.5 feet. In just the first 2 weeks of operation this year, we've already provided nearly 2,000 rides to and from the beach, and we're looking for record participation this year. And we would advise people that are interested, while our Fridays are usually quite busy and you have to arrive up to a half an hour in advance, we do have plenty of seats available Monday through Thursday. And depending on your individual schedule, you can spend as little as 2 hours or as much as 6 hours at the beach. If you'd like more information about the program, we have flyers and postcards throughout the city, including up at the city clerk's table. There's also information available on the website, and that address is www.totransit, all one word, .org. And we'd also like to thank Thousand Oaks TV, TOTV, who's produced a promotional video about the program, and that's also available on the city's website for viewing. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike. Could I remind everyone to please state your name and city of residence. Next up, J.D. Slashard, followed by Lori Brown. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is J.D. Slackert, and my city of residence is Thousand Oaks, California. And tonight, I'm here on behalf of the Luke Strong Foundation, which is a registered 501c3 nonprofit that supports children with sickle cell disease. And rather than giving you the details about the event I'm going to be talking about, I'm going to tell you a little story about this kid that changed my life. I was playing basketball at Oak Park High School, so just down the street from here, almost 7 or 8 years ago, when after one of my games, a girl whom I'd never previously met came up to me and said that her little brother wanted to meet me and play basketball with me. And I sort of brushed her off and said that I would get around to it when I could, but she said, no, it has to happen next week. And that's when I asked her why, and she said, because my little brother is 6 years old, and he has sickle cell disease, and the last thing that he wants to do before he goes into a full year of isolation for a bone marrow transplant is meet you and play basketball with you. Luke Bodden was my best friend, and he was a little kid that lost his life at the age of 10 years old. And so now me and his family started a foundation called the Luke Strong Foundation that supports other children with this disease that took my best friend. And when he was still here with us, we used to celebrate all of his birthdays with a kickball tournament. And when you have a bone marrow transplant in the medical community, they call it having your second birthday. So we would celebrate Luke's second birthday with a kickball tournament every year. And we had 3 of them from the ages 6 to 9. And when he passed away at 10, he told his mom that he wanted us to continue the tradition of having a kickball tournament. So now we have this tournament every year as our annual fundraiser for the Luke Strong Foundation. And this year it will be on August 3rd, and I have all the information here with me today, and I'll be passing out the flyer for that. But it is going to be located at 402 Calle del Prado Park in Newbury Park, California. And I would just encourage and invite any of you to participate and be involved, because I know from firsthand experience what this disease can do and the need for help in this community. I work with plenty of kids with the foundation and have seen just how needed this financial support can be. So any and all support we can get from this community and any other communities around the area means a lot. But more than anything, the opportunity to tell his story and keep his memory alive is something I hope to do for a very long time. So I hope I can get that support from all of you guys, and we'll pass out these cards, but really appreciate your time, and thank you very much.
Thank you, JD. Next up, Lori Brown, followed by Connie Hallstein.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Lori Brown, and I live in Sherman Oaks. I am a school teacher. I taught for 26 years. Prior to going on a 39-month disability leave, I had good health, and I had accumulated close to 800 hours of illness time. When my school in April 2015 upgraded their Wi-Fi system, putting in over 190 access points in the school, 2 in every classroom, bringing in Chromebooks, bringing students with their cell phones, smart boards. All of these devices were radiating microwave radiation, similar to if you put 5G on street poles and you put them outside 2-story, they're up 2-story levels at bedroom levels. I became very sick, and so did several teachers at my school. Some teachers had to leave. My principal actually wrote to the Inspector General of my school district, and we were suffering basically what is called microwave sickness, also known as electrosensitivity. Symptoms such as headaches, nausea, skin burning, swelling in the nostrils, swollen glands, blurry vision. To my knowledge, parents were not notified of this, just like if your school has an epidemic of lice, a letter goes home. Parents were not notified. Nurses were not trained to recognize symptoms of microwave sickness. Doctors are not trained in medical school to know about this. Similar, I would say, to things like fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, where people first didn't realize there really was something to it. I went on a 39-month disability leave. I ate through my close to 800 hours of illness time. I'm now earning half my income. I loved what I did for a living. It was my calling, being a teacher. And my quality of life has really been affected by this. I no longer have the freedom to just do everything and enjoy everything because there are so many frequencies all over. And I have to believe that there are a lot of people with symptoms that haven't connected the dots yet. Putting 5G on telephone poles every 300 feet, whatever it is, putting it outside anybody's window, you are putting them in jeopardy of losing their health. You're putting them in jeopardy of losing their livelihood. And I have to ask you, would you want these oscillations, modulations, 24 hours, 7 days a week outside your window?
All right, thank you, Lori. Thank you very much. Connie Hallstein, followed by Ann Simon. Hello, Connie.
Hi, good evening. My name is Connie Hallstein, and I've been a resident of Thousand Oaks.
Pull the mic down. Very good.
Hi, my name is Connie Hallstein, and hello, everybody. I've been a resident of Thousand Oaks, California since 1984. Why I'm here tonight is for the City of Thousand Oaks Neighborhood Cleanup Program. I heard that it was discontinued, and I would like to have it reinstated. I have been a volunteer coordinator for the last 12 years of this program. It is very important to our community, and in fact, a lot of people are ready for the cans to come in. And I just love Thousand Oaks, and I would love to be the volunteer coordinator to continue this great program to keep this beautiful city clean. Thank you.
Thank you, Connie. Ann Simon, followed by Sydney Shoemaker.
Good evening, council members. Thank you for hearing me. I haven't been a resident as long as most of you have, but I moved here because it's just such a wonderful place to live. I think is
Your city of residence is?
Oh, in Thousand Oaks for 10
Very
years
good.
now.
Thank you.
10 years.
Thank
And
you.
I'm here to speak on the same topic as Connie on the neighborhood cleanup program. One of the things that I thought was so fantastic is how beautiful, clean everything is in town and well maintained, and of course the parks and the schools. And we actually started to count on this annual program where the city would bring the roll-in bins for us, and we would get the timing in advance. And Connie was one of the organizers, and she would make sure everyone knew what the dates were. She'd flyer all the doors. She'd make sure everyone was ready to go, and we'd sign up probably 25 of the 28 houses on our block. And then everyone would get ready, and they would work to get ready for a couple of weeks beforehand, and then we would get all our stuff packed up into the dumpsters. And it was really, it kind of helped create a sense of community on the street as well, with younger families helping older people, and everyone sort of pitching in. And so when it stopped, it was a concern, and we didn't know if it was just a one-year reprieve or if it had been ended. It just sort of ended. So we were hoping to request that the city look at reinstating the program for us and for the whole city. And there is a thing that has happened since then, which is that people seem to be now taking their larger items that aren't picked up by Waste Management and just putting them on the curb. I never saw that before. I mean, for the first 8 years I was here, I never saw people leaving, trash and scrap and things like that on the street. And they do it consistently now, and trying to get, the scrap people to pick it up. And it's sort of, it's a negative for me on our beautification of our street. So we'll respectfully request that we be considered for this program to be reinstated. Thank you.
Thank you, Ann. Sydney Shoemaker, followed by Judy Bruce.
Hello, my name is Sydney Shoemaker, and I'm a resident of Westlake Village, California. So did you know that most children who don't get rescued from sex slavery do not make it to 18 years old? Today, I'm here to tell you about an important cause that I'm advocating for. So I'm a member of the Young Leaders Council, and this year we are joining our efforts to help fight sex trafficking through Imagine Fest and our first annual Bohemian Ball. So Imagine Fest is a community festival featuring yoga, music, art, and empowering activities for the whole family. But Imagine is just more than a festival. The beneficiary for Imagine Fest is Unlikely Heroes, a local nonprofit organization which rescues and rehabilitates victims of sex trafficking, both here in the US and globally. So since November of 2011, Unlikely Heroes has rescued over 300 victims, and they have rescued children from ages a few days old up until teenagers, and they provided them with a safe home, education, medical treatment, therapy, and unconditional love until they are adults and ready to re-enter the world. So I have been involved with Imagine Fest throughout my high school experience, and I can tell you, it has been extremely heartwarming to see all of these people my age, younger, and older gathering weekly to help people that they've never met and may never meet. So this year we are adding this very special event, the Bohemian Ball. It will be on July 11th, and it will be held at the Agora Hills Recreation and Event Center. We invite you and encourage you to join us for an evening of true inspiration. You can go to the Imagine Fest website for more information. And council members, if you feel the need to support our cause, here are several ways that you are able to get involved. First, you can buy bundle tickets and give them to your family, friends, and coworkers. Secondly, we ask that you list our event on the city calendar. And lastly, if you could connect us with local organizations and businesses for sponsorships and donations, it would be of great help. So thank you for your time, and I have some flyers that I'd like to give to you, and we are looking forward to your support.
Thank you, Sydney. Judy Bruce, followed by Gina.
Hello, my name is Judy Bruce. I'm from Simi Valley. And my speech is about the VC County Star article about the Thousand Oaks 5G webpage. And you wanted to correct some public information in that page, when in fact, the webpage's intent, sorry to say, is to mislead, which is dishonest fake news and propaganda. It's misinformation when the city says it wants the residents to have the facts that these FCC rules apply to every city in the country, and they are the law. Reality is that there is no congressional act, i.e. law, that compels any city to accept wireless technologies. Title 47 is administrative rules for the FTC to regulate telecom companies who wish to get their licensure and authority to sell and distribute internet, cable, and telephone services to America. Title 47 is not codified into law of the United States Code, which means this law does not exist. Therefore, no city in America is required to accept its provisions. All the experts are making incorrect arguments. It is misinformation in your attempt to pacify by saying that Thousand Oaks is one of the named parties in a federal lawsuit challenging the new FCC rules. The reality is that this is not a lawsuit or a class action. It is an administrative proceeding in the Ninth Circuit Court. Why are these cities on the docket? They lack standing, they are not a telecom company, and should not be in that venue making an argument whatsoever. It is total insanity, and it is set up to fail. Your FAQ, there's a disinformation when you say that other cities' ordinances are not stronger than yours. The reality is they do exist. There are stronger ordinances. Some cities, for example, in Marin County, they use discretionary versus ministerial decision-making. They have significant differences in distances and setback between poles and exclusion from residential zones. You disinform by omission to exclude links to established science showing clear evidence of cancer, etc. I'm going to be submitting into public record evidence of cancer in Ripon School in which several students and teachers got cancer as soon as the cell tower was installed. And instead, you used tobacco, the Tobacco Playbook's doubt, and said, wireless industry says such concerns are unfounded. I say, shame on you. After all of our public comments talking about
Thank you, Judy.
evidence,
Your time's expired.
the FCC order is a dead elephant, and the cities are sovereign, and your hands
Thank
are
you.
not tied. Thank you.
Next up, we have Gina, followed by Rose Castro. Gina? No? Okay, Rose Castro, followed by Dana.
Good evening, council members. My name is Rose Castro, and I live in Newbury Park, California. I'm here to talk about the opioid epidemic, which has made its way into our city, our neighborhoods, and our schools. I'm talking about this unpleasant subject, not to be an alarmist or to disparage our beautiful city, but in the hopes of saving even one life. In 2016, there were 116 fatal drug overdoses here in Ventura County. In 2017, there were 165, and in 2018, there were 170 lives lost to overdoses. Based upon this trend, we can expect this number to increase in 2019. These numbers represent those who have died and do not include the overdoses in which the patient survived. My son Jeremy was one of those statistics. In April of 2017, he died of a fentanyl overdose at 26 years old. The police investigation determined that he purchased this drug from someone who lived just a few blocks away from us. I later learned the cost of this drug deal. It was $20. In the opiate world, it takes a mere $20 to take a human life. I shudder to think how many teenagers in Thousand Oaks, Westlake, or Newbury Park who are walking around with $20 in their pocket. For this reason, I believe that opiate awareness needs to be raised in our community by our local government, school district, and law enforcement. I would welcome the opportunity to work with you on any of these issues. In the days following Jeremy's passing, I had 5 other families confide that they too were dealing with drug addiction in their homes. So while people don't openly talk about this painful issue, it definitely exists in our town. Addiction has no boundaries as to who it claims. Our family has started a nonprofit foundation in Jeremy's name to help those in our community who are struggling with opiate and heroin addiction. We aim to rid the stigma, shame, and judgment associated with drug addiction and encourage people to come forward and seek help with their battle. Our mission is to ensure that no other family in the Conejo Valley suffers the loss of a child or sibling due to the opiate epidemic. Anybody wanting more information on our cause can visit us at jeremycastrofoundation.org. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Rose. Next up, Dana, followed by Alex Valadez.
Good evening. My name is Dana, and I've been a resident of Westlake for 15 years. 2 years ago, Verizon came to my building where I have my office, and they put in 2 huge cell phone towers the size of a Hummer vehicle. And I watched them dig up the ground right next to where I sit, and they put in a ton of cabling going down underground and these 2 giant Hummer-like boxes on the roof. I was scared about it, but I really didn't know what the effects would be. And I'm here to tell you that I'm a very intelligent person. I'm very creative, and I've lost so many of these wonderful things about myself. You can see I'm struggling a little bit to exactly tell you, but I used to be a person who came home every night and cooked dinner for my husband. I didn't order out. I can't even figure out how to cook now. I have problems remembering what the recipes were that I cooked. I don't know how to put things together when I'm trying to talk to people anymore. I used to be creative, and I made a lot of things. I made handbags, I made bracelets, I made jewelry, I made animals, stuffed animals and things. I look at these things and I don't even know how I used to do it. I have nausea on a daily basis. I have headaches. I don't feel well. I've turned into an old woman overnight, and I'm embarrassed to tell my husband that I don't want to do things because I don't feel good. And I really didn't know what it was, but now I'm putting two and two together because the time frame that I've digressed is about 1.5 years. And that's really not unacceptable. This is not even 5G. I'm being exposed to just Wi-Fi and overhead cell phone towers. So that means signals are constantly bouncing off of our building, which means off of me. I would come home sometimes from work, and I felt so bad. I would lay on the bed, open everything, put the air on, and I would end up throwing up. The nausea is so bad. I have a lot of memory problems and blurry vision. And I didn't even know who to reach out to for help. So this week I found someone that I'm going to be going to be evaluated on EMF sensitivity. But please, it's a real thing. People are experiencing this. And I think, like the second speaker said, they just don't know. Please do something.
Thank you, Dana.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Alex Valadez, followed by Christy Turner.
Hi, I live in Newbury Park, and I'm also electrohypersensitive, as two of the previous speakers were. And I'm also here to talk about the way that electrohypersensitivity affects my life and others' life, and how 5G could impact that. So in my case, I suffer from severe headaches, chest pains, anxiety, poor sleep, fatigue, heart palpitations, nausea, and among other things. And these are common symptoms for people who suffer from electrohypersensitivity. And it has affected me in my ability to continue my academic studies, my ability to work, my ability to socialize, and in short, it has destroyed a lot of aspects of my life. And I think it's destroyed to a great degree the quality of my life. And with the installation of 5G, I think things would become a lot more difficult for electrohypersensitives, and a lot of us would probably have to move out of Thousand Oaks and either become homeless or something along those lines, because there's not really anywhere we can turn to. So I think it is important to keep in mind that there's a portion of the population that's, even though it's minor, that will be affected severely with the installation of 5G. And a couple of other points I wanted to make about electrohypersensitivity is that in Sweden it actually is officially recognized as a functional disability, so that the government there makes accommodations for electrohypersensitives by reducing levels of electromagnetic fields in their work environment and the home environment. So that's something very important, I think, to recognize that other countries are taking action. And there have been multiple cases of reliable people, it's been documented, who are electrohypersensitive For example, Gro Harlem Brundtland, the former Prime Minister of Norway and Director General of the World Health Organization. And there are high-quality, peer-reviewed scientific studies showing that electrohypersensitivity is a genuine condition, and there are hundreds of scientists around the world who dedicate their lives to studying this, who think that it's a genuine condition. So, given this, I'd like to ask if you're confident that this unnecessary 5G experiment that will permit us to download Netflix movies at faster speeds wouldn't be seriously harming the people of Thousand Oaks.
Thank you, Alex. Next, we have Christy Turner, followed by Mandy Jacob.
Christy Turner, Thousand Oaks. I know it's tough for people to share their personal stories of EMF sensitivity, but I think we need to support one another so we can feel comfortable talking about it so others can be aware. How someone is affected is determined first by their susceptibility and exposure. I always remember being sensitive as a kid. I remember going to the valley and being able to smell the pollution. I worked for 10 years as a dental assistant while attending college in the field of nutrition. I was exposed to radiation from the X-rays and tons of chemicals, along with hepatitis and chickenpox vaccines. Shortly after, my digestion and immune system shut down, and I was hospitalized. Then we were introduced to cell phones and laptop computers, followed by Wi-Fi. I've had a cell phone for 19 years now, and for years, both laptops with wireless has caused me to feel a deep dull pain in my bones. My fingers will get zapped. I have flu-like symptoms, itchy red arms, sharp pains in my breasts, the feeling of ants crawling on my arms and face, and an overall just kind of buzzy feeling with confusion. Last year, while driving on the 101 freeway, I blacked out, losing complete vision seconds after my Bluetooth was triggered. I was rushed to the ER to find nothing was wrong. 6 months later, I had an episode of a major heart palpitation, followed by the loss of my breath after texting for 20 minutes. The doctors are telling people they have anxiety, and people don't feel comfortable opening up. What are we supposed to do? What's going to happen to these young children who are going to have a super high susceptibility from already being exposed to enormous amounts of toxins and vaccines? How will they adapt? I just can't wrap my head around the seriousness of this all and how we have to stand here and all fight for our lives. I'm begging you to please do all you can to halt the 5G and infrastructure. Thank you.
Thank you, Christy. Mandy Jacob, followed by Kim Payne.
Good evening, City Council. I'm here tonight to formally introduce...
City of residence, please,
sorry,
Mandy.
Newbury Park. Newbury Park. To formally introduce our organization. My name is Mandy Jacob from Newbury Park, and I'm the president of Ventura County Issues Reform. As the name states, some people refer to us as VCIR, and you can go to vcir.net, but as the name states, we are a local advocacy group that supports residents in issues pertaining to Ventura County. And as you know, we've been coming here for a few months now regarding 5G. And funnily enough, we're going to change our name pretty soon to California Issues Reform because we've had so many counties come to us to help them. So we are now helping Santa Barbara County, Inland Empire, and San Diego County. But we were also recently contacted by a group in Los Angeles County that are as they term it, microwave sick or EMF sensitive. And that term was actually coined all the way back in World War II. But as we know, electromagnetic field sensitivity is now referred to by the scientists and doctors and is acknowledged by the ADA, American Disabilities Act, and the United States Access Board. you may or may not know that the mayor gave us his facility to host the world-famous Daphne Tachova from Israel, who fought up to the Supreme Court and managed to remove Wi-Fi from the schools there. And we had over 170 people with standing room only for over 4 hours. In between our last city council meeting and that city council meeting, we have met with the mayors of Calabasas, Camarillo, Agora, Santa Barbara, and Burbank. And there's a growing realization within those meetings that they can do things with the small cell facilities within the FCC guidelines while they are maintaining their control and safeguarding their residents. Also, we're always wanting to work with you and tell you about all the different colorful solutions they've come up with. We also went and met with Congresswoman Brownlee for the second time now, and we want to thank you for sending that letter that Rob McCoy did on behalf of the city. They were much more amicable to us, so that helped a lot, and now they have signed on to HR 530, so we thank you for that. That's fantastic news for us. Besides Congresswoman Brownlee, we had a one-on-one with Katie Hill, and then we had 2 town halls with Jackie Irwin. Unfortunately, they keep referring us back to you, which is why we keep coming back. But Westlake Village City Council managed to have a meeting with Senator Stern, and we just thank them for representing their residents.
Thank you, Mandy. Thank you.
May I just ask you, we didn't bring all our speakers tonight just so that I could let you know what we've done on the Congress and Senate level. I've got 2 more paragraphs.
You could submit it to the city clerk. We'll take a look at
Really?
it. But your time has expired. I'm sorry.
You would have had to sit for at least another half an hour. I would have thought, out of respect for the new organization, you would like to hear from us. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mandy. Next up, Kim Payne, followed by Dr. Carol Tessetta. Kim? Not here? Oh, all right, very good. And then we have Dr. Carol Tessetta. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Good evening.
Hi, good evening, council members and an audience. I'm Dr. Carol Tessetta, Newbury Park. I'm a board-certified licensed physician. I'd like to present an informed consent form that, if I worked for the telecom industry, they might have me write, and it might look something like this. You have been volunteered to take part in a clinical trial for healthy subjects and patients with microwave sickness, coded in ICD, exposure to other non-ionizing radiation, microwave. Just last week, on June 18th, the ICD-11 coding came out, and these codes you might choose to include are assault by exposure to non-ionizing radiation, exposure to non-ionizing radiation with undetermined intent, and unintentional exposure to non-ionizing radiation. This clinical trial uses an investigational device called 5G. 5G has not been approved by the FDA in the United States. The investigational device 5G is being studied to provide digital opportunity for all Americans. Side effects will not be studied in this trial. We didn't bother making a form which would tell you about the risks and benefits of this clinical trial and what will happen if you choose to take part, which is not an option. You will not be assigned a study doctor who would have explained the clinical trial to you. You will not be able to ask questions. You will not be able to decide whether or not you agree or disagree to be part of this research trial. You will not enjoy the process known as informed consent. In addition to this clinical trial, there are other options you could consider. You could move from Thousand Oaks. Prior human studies with 5G. Although 5G has been studied for military weapon and some medical applications in humans, such as laser surgery, this research study is the first using 5G in the general population, including children, pregnant, and breastfeeding women. How many people will take part in this study? Everybody. However, some will be lucky enough to sleep far away from small cell towers. For example, those with a lot of acreage on their property. You will not be asked to monitor any symptoms by anyone. There is no screening for eligibility. You're automatically eligible no matter what your medical condition. How long will I be in the study? Maybe forever. Can I stop being in the study? No. What side effects or risks can I expect from being in the study? Certain side effects and discomforts of 5G may happen. You may have Alzheimer's, none of the known side effects. There is also a risk that rare or unknown side effects may occur. Effects may go away soon after 5G is stopped, but in some cases, side effects may be serious, long-lasting, or permanent, such as cancer, congestive heart failure, neuropsychiatric effects, and cardiomyopathy.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you very much. And I would like to thank all our speakers for taking the time to coming down this evening. Appreciate that. And let's go to our City Manager Powers for any follow-up comments.
Yeah, just two quick items. We had a couple speakers on neighborhood cleanup. Public Works Director Jay Spurgeon is coming down. He'll catch you to talk a little bit more of that. We certainly had some challenges with that program. This was not a financial issue. It was more an issue of how the program was being utilized. He'll talk to you a little bit more about that and any potential options. And we had a woman speak regarding opioid abuse. It's certainly something we take very seriously. I was going to have Police Chief Tim Hagel catch you, ma'am, to talk a little bit more about some of those opportunities there. That's all.
Thank you very much. Hey, before I go any further, let me welcome Aaron from our Boy Scout Troop 761. Aaron, where are you? Stand up. Hello, how are you? Thank you for coming. What badge are you working on, Aaron? Yeah? Good. You're in the right place. Thanks for coming. All right, let's move on to our consent calendar. I don't know if any of my fellow council members noticed, but it goes all the way from A to Z.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, if I may mention, just for the council's benefit, I think they are aware, especially those that have been on this dais for a while, this is last meeting before the close of the fiscal year. So traditionally, this is a long consent calendar because we're renewing quite a few contracts that roll across fiscal year. So just making that point for you.
Thank you. A to Z. And if, let me just see here. Councilmember Bill de la Pena, do you have a motion?
I don't have a motion. I wanted to pull item 7H, but I can move the remainder of the calendar.
Please do.
Okay. Also move without item H.
All right. Can you prepare the vote, please?
Councilmember Jones, can you please state your vote?
No, excuse me, aye.
There we go.
The motion carries 4-0 with Mayor McCoy absent.
All right. And you wanted to talk about 7H?
Yes, thank you.
All right, very
Mayor
good.
Pro Tem Adam. It pertains to the LA County Animal Care and Control contract renewal for services. And I'm sorry to put you on the spot, but I wanted to, this is a 17% increase compared to the previous contract. So that is quite an increase. I just wanted to know whether the LA County Animal Control will have experts, or not experts, but employees that actually do know about livestock such as horses. Because we did encounter problems during the Woolsey fire with the horses that were from Ventura County not being able to be transported.
Correct. I mean, historically, LA County Animal Control does have expertise in the handling of large animals, such as horses. We have worked with them on multiple evacuations during wildfire events, literally over the past 25 years that I'm aware of. So they do have that expertise on staff. With regard to the cost increase, staff recognizes that this is an increase as proposed by LA County Animal Control, with whom we contract, but is stipulated, as pointed out in the staff report, it still is significantly less than if we were to contract otherwise with the County of Ventura.
Okay, I did ask about the horses because there were problems with LA County Animal Control not accepting and taking them to Pierce College. So I wanted to make sure that that is being addressed.
Will do.
Thank you. And I move.
All right, very good. You move 7H?
Yeah.
All right. For motion, vote please.
Aye.
All right.
The motion carries 4-0 with Mayor McCoy absent.
All right, thank you very much. We do not have any public hearings this evening. However, we do have some department reports. And first, we're going to talk about the Healing Garden Community Memorial Grant Agreement, and Melissa Hurtado will give us that report.
Hi, good evening, Mayor Pro Tem Adam and council members. We're here tonight to discuss an agreement for a grant with the Conejo Rec and Park District for construction of a memorial healing garden. November 7th, 2018 was a night that forever changed our community. 12 lives were taken and 248 survivors' lives were changed when a gunman opened fire at the Borderline Bar and Grill. The community showed an outpouring of support following this tragic loss. Flowers and mementos were left at a makeshift memorial. People from around the world donated to the Borderline Fund, established with the Ventura County Community Foundation, which to date has raised over $4 million. And professional sports teams honored the victims at their home games. At the City Council goal-setting meeting on March 19th, the top 10 priorities included a permanent memorial to honor the Borderline victims. On June 11th, City Council adopted a 2-year budget, which includes $250,000 intended for the construction of a memorial. Representatives from the city, CRPD, Ventura County Sheriff's Department, Thousand Oaks Police Department, and California Lutheran University met to explore ways to honor the victims and survivors and provide a space where the community can reflect and heal. There was a universal desire to have something in place by the 1-year anniversary. Out of these discussions, the concept of a healing garden at Conejo Creek North was developed. The proposed memorial is the city's and CRPD's contribution to honor the victims and survivors, but other entities are not precluded from honoring the victims through community events, donations, and memorials. Conejo Creek North was identified as an ideal location for the Memorial Healing Garden due to its existing amenities, including ample parking, restrooms, a picnic area, an existing water feature, and available space. The nearby stage area is already enjoyed by many who attend various community events. The agreement provides that the city will grant up to $250,000 for construction costs. CRPD will be responsible for the ongoing maintenance and operational costs. The project is scheduled to be completed by the 1-year anniversary date. We'd now like to invite Thousand Oaks Police Chief Tim Hagel to speak about his discussions with the victims' families about the concept and preliminary design.
Thank you very much. Council, thank you very much for this opportunity. I just wanted to add a few comments, just personal comments, reaching out to these families, which include a total of 26 adults, parents, and or widows from the Borderline victims that were taken. So reaching out over the last 2 months with them, talking about the plans for a healing and reflection area. And I use those 2 points because as the community heals, I tell people to describe the feeling that you have as you pick a site and you think about the design of this, is think about any one of us healing, and as a family and as a group and as a community, you go through your moods, right? All of us. You go where you're angry and you're sad, and minutes later, as I'm working with these families, they can actually break into laughter on a good family memory of something. And early on, as the group that put this together, they really wanted to emphasize a crown jewel location where the families forever can come back, and regardless of what kind of mood they're in. And this facility, they were quite highly impressed by working with each of the families, that this facility can actually touch and feel whatever mood they're in. So as the families, this location can accept folks, you just visualize that of festival or of grieving or of reflection and healing. So the families have been involved this whole time. They have seen plans that the staff is going to propose tonight further on in this meeting, and they're deeply appreciative. One fine point I wanted to point out of human nature is one of the major commonalities of all of the families and all 26 of these immediate family members is making sure that the survivors also have a place where they can go for the living. And I just think that was commendable about the families. I think now what I'd like to do, Brian Hines, our guest here and owner of the Borderline, would you mind coming down and talking for a sec? I've asked Brian to come tonight. Brian Hines has been tremendous, and Troy, lift your arm up there, Troy. Thank you. They have been tremendous help, not only for helping as we talk about this reflection and healing area, but a personal help for me, and I want to extend that out both to you and to Troy. We could not do our work reaching out to these families with both of you, and the community owes gratitude to both of you. Thank you.
Welcome, Brian.
Hello, everybody. I didn't really have anything prepared. Tim texted me like an hour ago. I just want to say thank you for everything you guys have done, for everything the parks have done, for the families, for the survivors, and just for ourselves. Just thank you guys. The city itself just shows how amazing you guys are, and the fact that when Tim brought this to us, it's something beyond what we could ever imagine, and that's why you're doing what you're doing. That's why we're not doing it. So thank you for everything, and it's just from me, my staff, and from everybody. It means the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Troy, also.
Thank you for coming down, Brian. T.O. Strong.
Thank you, Brian. Andrew Mooney, Senior Park Planner with CRPD, played an integral role in the development of the design concept. So I'll now turn it over to Andrew so he can discuss the preliminary design.
So to provide backup to understand what a healing garden is, there are really three questions to review. One being what? The main objective is to provide a place, a quiet and safe place for connection and reflection for the individuals, which reduces stress and gives an improvement in overall sense of well-being and hopefulness to the individual or group of individuals. It is a place where contemplation, meditation, or prayer can be supported. The space is universal. It's a community space for all to utilize. The next question would be why? As humans, we come from nature and we're drawn to it. In our modern age, with distractions everywhere, we looked at getting back to nature as a retreat. Research shows nature provides multiple healing benefits. It relieves, it engrosses, it comforts us. So you might ask, how do we go about this? We provide basic natural elements of the space, which can include and do include in this design water, whether it be still or in moving, plant material, green and flowering, shade and sun, so providing a retreat during the summer heat, or providing a warm place to sit and contemplate during the cooler months of the year. The space would also be provided with communal and seating opportunities. So turning over to the design of the project, the Healing Garden is in a central location in Thousand Oaks at its most popular park, Conejo Creek North. The park's upper pond supplies an anchoring component to the space, with mature specimen oaks providing a screen from other park activities while preserving a strong linkage from the pond to the existing park walkways and community gathering areas. The Borderline 12 are represented by a fountain feature with 12 vertical jets centered in the existing pond, which signifies the broader community. The water feature is one of three main elements of the healing space. A passive contemplation area is provided to the south of the pond with peaceful shoreline seating divided by simplistic landscaping surrounding the space to create a unique outdoor room that offers various foliage and flowering plant material. Plant species were selected to complement existing plant selections while inviting wildlife such as butterflies and birds. Embodying the natural surroundings of the region, a large specimen oak will be planted bordering the garden area that provides additional canopy. One natural boulder will be centered at the Shoreline Plaza entry and will introduce visitors to the Healing Garden. Additionally, the Borderline 12 will be signified by 12 large natural granite stone slab benches located along the plaza, connecting the shoreline of the pond to an existing walkway. The granite materials were hand-selected to represent the strength of our community. The plaza paving is a linear concrete paver that runs parallel with the granite bench orientation that directs the visitor's vision to the pond element. The pavers will be a blend of several colors mirroring that of the granite stone. A unique color will designate 248 pavers in the scheme, representing the number of survivors from the tragic night. To the north, the active Lakeside Pavilion provides space for community events and gathering areas. Augmenting and providing additional structure to the existing stage at the pavilion will be a series of natural granite boulder massings totaling 12 boulders. One of the boulders will overlook the pond feature and will introduce visitors to the Healing Garden. Through the tragic shooting incident of November 7th, 2018, where 12 lives were taken and 248 survived, the Healing Garden was conceived. The result is a shared vision between the City of Thousand Oaks, Ventura County Sheriff's Office, and the Conejo Recreation and Park District of a space for all community members to assist healing and provide a place for contemplation, meditation, and prayer. The natural setting through the use of water, foliage, and stone is designed to relieve, engross, and comfort our community. It is a place to pause, reflect, and heal.
Thank you, Mr. Mooney. So tonight, staff is recommending that City Council approve the grant agreement with Conejo Rec and Park District for $250,000 and approve the expenditure for the construction of the Healing Garden Community Memorial. In addition to Mr. Mooney and Chief Hagel, Gary Rogers and I are also available for questions.
Thank you for the presentation. Do we have questions? All right, if not, I do have a speaker card, and that's Mr. Chase Rashid. Chase?
Thank you, Mayor and City Council. I just wanted to, Chase Rashid, City of Thousand Oaks. I just wanted to thank the city and for allocating this money for this project, and the police chief for making sure that the families were involved in the planning of this. Healing is a permanent process. It never truly ends, and I think this is a good step towards the families and the survivors being able to heal. I did have one suggestion about this, the name here, to instead of saying memorial, maybe say healing and celebration of life garden, because that's what people really want to do for their loved ones. They want to celebrate their life. And these people who were lost, we don't want to define their lives solely by the tragedy. We want to make sure that we are celebrating their lives. So that was the one suggestion I had, and I also want to talk about the unity that was in the community. I can still feel it around, but let's please keep it going. If any of us were friends with somebody who was at borderline or lost somebody at borderline, strengthen those friendships. If you can be a new friend to any of those people, create a new friendship with them. Find ways to reach out and embrace people that you know and even people you didn't know. Keep that unity going, because we are a unified community, and you know, when a tragedy occurs, we have to remember that we are one community. And thank you.
Thank you, Chase. Thank you. Councilmember Bill de la Pena.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Adam. I'm glad that tonight the community and, in fact, the country can see how the city is moving forward and ahead with the help of the families to never forget. And this is a remembrance healing garden. Memorial is just a word that is normally used for such incidents or establishments. The mayor, Mayor McCoy, is not here tonight, and he's, I'm sure, saddened by it because he was part of the group that pushed for a memorial, that had sat in on all the meetings,
and with the chief who reached out to the families, who gave their blessing to this project. So I just didn't want to go this unnoticed that Mayor McCoy played a very significant part in this as well. And in going over this, it of course brings back terrible, terrible memories. But I'm looking forward to the healing, because there is a feeling in our community, by the survivors perhaps, that feel that Thousand Oaks has moved on and forgotten about them. And we want to make sure that that does not happen. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Engler?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Just a comment. I think I was very touched that the families wanted to include the people who were also at the location but who survived. That is a very generous and thoughtful thing to do, and it really is reflects well on them. We have many, many beautiful places in Thousand Oaks where this memorial could have gone. To choose that park is a wonderful idea. It's a very vibrant park, well used and attended by a lot of the community. By putting our memorial in this park, all of the people who were at Borderline that night are going to be part of the community forever. And I think my hat is off to both our mayor and also the committee who thought this up. It looks like a very tasteful and will accomplish the goal of being a reflective space. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Councilmember Engler. Councilmember Jones?
Yeah, I've been trying to figure out how to press the talk button here. I couldn't figure it out. And I'm just overwhelmed with not only the description that we have of this garden, but all the planning that went into this. We feel so violated. I mean, we can't imagine, and I don't mean to mention this in the same breath with the tragedy of the people directly involved, both the families of those who died and the other 248 people that were there that night. That is hard to even contemplate. I can't imagine what it must feel like. And this attempt that we are giving to, as we read this place of bereavement where we can contemplate, reflect, and connect, I'm so glad that we heard that it's tied to nature, because I think that is an aspect of nature, and you've done such a marvelous job of the symbolism with the 12 monuments and with the environment, with the whole place. I can't imagine the thought and the feelings that went into all this. I mean, to have, I hate to mention the violation in the community in the same breath as the violation of the families. They can't be compared. But we've tried here, for 55 years now to have the safest community. And then all of a sudden, not only to have this terrible loss for all these families and the bereavement that goes with it, but to think that they could do that to Thousand Oaks after what we've all meant to each other here and all we've tried to do over this last 55 years. But I don't want to dwell on that. I just want to say that my heart was broken when I heard about this. I was not in town at the time. It followed the election, and I told my wife that after putting up with the rigors of the campaigning that we would take a trip. And so we were not here for that time to experience that tragedy or the fires that followed and everything. But what a blow to everything that we stand for and everything that we hold dear. And then to think that this was accompanied by this mass killing here in Thousand Oaks. I mean, and I had no idea until I read the packet that there were 248 people there that night that were struggling to break windows and get out, and seeing the blood and seeing the, I mean, it's just beyond my comprehension. and I'm sorry to belabor this. Something I had to get off my chest. I just can't thank CRPD, my alma mater, for their work on this, and Andrew and everybody, and Tom and so forth that went into this, along with our staff, and it shows the great cooperation and the great feeling of family. I think that's it, family. We feel as a family that we've been violated. This is Thousand Oaks. We don't have this. And again, let me just close by saying, when bringing this up, I do not want to compare that in any way to the tragedy of the ones directly involved. This community feeling that we've been violated is in no way compares at all to the tragedy of these people, these families, these friends and neighbors that many of us know. So I can't thank the staff, our staff, and all the staff of CRPD for putting this together. I think it's just magnificent, and I have my hats off to everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Jones. And if I may add, this is a absolute top priority of the City Council, that this healing garden is made, and there's so many people to thank. The City of Thousand Oaks, of course. It's really great that Conejo Rec and Park members are here, because you played a big part in this as well. Ventura County Sheriff's Office, Thousand Oaks Police Department, California Lutheran University all had input into this project. As was mentioned, Mayor McCoy played a huge part in making this happen, and I particularly want to thank Chief Hagel, who worked one-on-one with these families, unwavering support, the face of the community. Chief, you did a wonderful job, and we thank you for it. I mean that sincerely. And it's an ideal place. It's a place that will live forever here in the City of Thousand Oaks, and I can only hope for the families that it brings some measure of peace and solace. That's all we can hope for. I know things can never really be the same for these poor families, but hopefully this will be something that gives some sort of peace. And with that, if the staff has no other comments or follow-ups, I'd like to get a motion, please. Councilmember Bill de la Pena.
Thank you. I will move to approve the recommendations 1 and 2 to establish a healing garden and to make sure that the victims and survivors will never be forgotten, because that is their biggest fear, of the survivors and the families of the victims, that they will be forgotten. But it's not going to happen. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have a motion on the floor. If I could ask for the vote, please.
Aye.
The motion passes 4-0 with Mayor McCoy absent.
Thank you all. All right. Next, we move on to a completely different topic, benefits and compensation for executive managers, and our city manager is going to handle that one. Drew?
Thank you so much, Mayor Pro Tem Adam. Adjustments to the benefits and compensation for executive staff usually occur concurrently with the city's bargaining units. On the consent agenda tonight was the adoption of the MOUs for the city's bargaining units. Changes in state law now require the executive compensation is called out specific. The executive compensation and benefits are set forth in a resolution to cover the items and present the information otherwise found in an MOU. The most significant changes to the resolution include the following: a salary adjustment of 1.5% on July 13th, 2019 and July 11th, 2020. Effective July 13th, 2019 and July 11th, 2020, salary and merit-based adjustments as follows: 1.5% salary adjustment if an employee's performance is at least good work rating 2.0, and a merit adjustment depending on the paper performance rating and position in the range, the compa ratio, between 0 and 3.5%. Reduction in the maximum accrual of annual leave from 1040 to 900 hours effective July 1, 2020, and the new ability for a city manager to provide leave accrual schedule to new executives up to the third tier. Cafeteria plan adjustment, including an increase of $50 a month from $780 to $830 on July 1, 2020, and an increase of $50 a month from $830 to $880 on July 1, 2021. Internal equity range salary adjustments, deputy city manager from range 705 to 725 to match deputy city manager / department head, and HR director from range 710 to 713 to match assistant city attorney. That is all.
All right, thank you, Mr. Powers. Any questions? If not, looking for a motion?
Also move.
All right. We've got a motion from Councilmember Jones. If I could have the vote, please.
Aye.
The motion carries 4-0 with Mayor McCoy absent.
Thank you very much. Now, we have our Youth Commission here this evening, the up-and-comers of Thousand Oaks. And they're going to give us their annual report. Welcome to the City Council. Thank you for being here this evening.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor, City Council members, City Manager, and staff. My name is Chloe Nash, and I am the 2018-2019 Chair of the Thousand Oaks Youth Commission. As always, our year included hosting events and developing programs that had clear impact on the community as determined by the 2018 Youth Leadership Summit and Implementation Plan. We had an exciting year with events every month. We also had outstanding guest speakers at all of our televised meetings on the topics of on-campus inclusion, school safety, off-campus inclusion, stress, and mental health experiences and opportunities. At every meeting, we had representatives from schools, CVUSD and local private schools. In addition to the major programs and events that you will hear about tonight, the Commission also serves as liaisons to various agencies in the community, and we participate in many outreach activities. We now pair experienced commissioners with newer commissioners on each event to mentor them in the preparation for future leadership. It is a very successful and collaborative process, and I am sure, just like every other commission, we believe we had the best year yet. Our public information chair, Peyton Toby, continue to build our social media pages and publicize our programs. We have web pages at toaks.org/youth, a Twitter account at TOYouth, an Instagram account at Thousand Oaks YC, and a Facebook Thousand Oaks Youth Commission. Volunteers also continue to review and update Conejo Connection resources on the city website. Other very successful programs this year included an open house in September that kicked off the year. This event is for commissioners, families, and friends, and school representatives to meet staff and learn about what the commission does and what to expect throughout the year. Reality parties in October and April, where parents can learn about new trends, and teen house parties and ask counselors and police any questions they may have. Both events were full, educating over 300 parents. High school hangouts in December and May, where older teens can go and hang out in a safe environment and create. It was led by Commissioner Tovey and served over 50 students. An internship fair on March 12th, where students can meet local businesses for potential employment, and was chaired by Commissioners Globke and Shea. At the Therapeutic Dance on March 30th, a theme was a night by the campfire. Over 150 young adults were treated to a night of entertainment, dancing, dinner, a photo booth, and a balloon drop. Commissioner McEwen implemented this perfectly while mentoring Commissioner Shao. Youth Recognition Awards was chaired by Commissioner Schlosser. She organized over 100 interviews in April and hosted a flawless event in May. Thank you to the TOTV and the Sheer Forum Theater staff and volunteers for making it so successful. Also, thank you to Council Members Engler and Jones for presenting awards to the students. The commission and other volunteers also help out as needed at the Mardi Gras Ball, the Senior of the Year, and other Teen Center events. I would now like to introduce Vice Chair Sarah Laufenberg, who will tell you about the City Internship Program, NLC, and the recommendations going forward.
Thank you, Chloe. As Chair Nash mentioned, I was the Vice Chair of the Commission this year. Last year, I mentored 2 younger commissioners to run the city program for this year. As you know, the commission administrates Community Internships Training Youth, or the city program. This year, we placed 59 students at 29 workplaces, which has grown considerably from 18 students placed in 2014. This program provides succession planning, helping businesses find future employees, and introducing outstanding students to a local college and local career opportunities. The students now get credit for participating as it is an official ROP class. We would like to thank staff from Conejo Valley Unified School District, Conejo Youth Employment Services, California Lutheran University, Greater Conejo Chamber of Commerce, and Ventura County Office of Education for their partnership and collaboration in the success of this program. The program would also not have been successful without the businesses that hosted interns. You can see the list of them at www.toaks.org/city. On July 29th at 12:15, we will have a culmination ceremony for all students and businesses to be recognized, and you are all invited. It is on the Ranch House lawn at California Lutheran University. We also had the distinct honor this past year of being selected to represent the City of Thousand Oaks at the 2018 National League of Cities Summit in Los Angeles, along with 4 other commissioners. We had the opportunity to work closely with community leaders from around the nation to give a new perspective on topics such as mental health, climate change, prison reform, immigration, and civic engagement of local youth. The workshops we chose to attend covered the implications of redlining and equity, leadership for boys and men of color, efforts to balance local democracy within the context of state legislation, and building confidence in your power to create change. This experience broadened all of our views on the role local government can and should serve, and spiked our interest in creating legislation to help the youth of our community. We want to thank City Council again for this exceptional opportunity. At the September Youth Commission meeting, top priorities for the 2019-2020 term will be determined. These help guide the Commission to assure they meet the direction of Council laid out in our resolution. The graduating seniors have recommendations we would like the Commission and City Council to consider for the next term. To continue to implement annual and biennial programs and serve as effective liaisons. To continue to implement Conejo Connections, reality parties, and the city program. To have greater focus on outreach and school involvement, as well as continue our guest speaker participation at meetings. To consider development of an intergenerational program. The 2020 Youth Leadership Summit will be held on February 11th, 2020, and we hope you all attend. Tonight, we recommend that you receive the Youth Commission Annual Report, and thank you for your continued support. As well as we want to mention, we love the beach bus. I know it was talked about earlier. So now, I guess we'll answer any questions if you have any. Thank you.
Thank you, Chloe and Sarah. Councilmember Bill de la Pena, with 2 sons ready to start high school, I know you're a big advocate of youth activities such as this.
I am very much so, and I've been very impressed with the members of the Youth Commission. Chloe, in fact, gave me a tour of Westlake High School.
And
right. Sarah, congratulations. You're going to Stanford? Or is it, which one is that?
I used to be, but there was a little change of plan.
Oh, okay.
So I'm now going to Yale.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Oh, darn.
Oh. That's
okay.
Sorry.
Congratulations, however. So we have some real stars on the Youth Commission. So I'm not sure whether I can groom my boys, but we'll see. Congratulations, and thank you very much for all of the years of work you have put into this. This is great.
Thank you.
So Yale's a consolation prize for you.
I guess so.
Wow, that's great. I want to thank you both for coming down this evening. It's amazing how that city program has grown over the years. Wow, some great companies that you get to intern with, and the experience is invaluable. And never fear, one of these days you'll actually be paid, too, when you have a job. Yeah, that happens. But thanks you both for coming down. The Youth Commission is one of my favorites, and it's great to see all the young people get involved with it. I think it's a wonderful experience. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman?
Oh, Mr.
Yeah,
Yes.
I just pressed.
Mr. Jones.
Let me say it was a pleasure to help out at the last minute with Councilman Engler, and when I heard all those citations of the various individuals and your accomplishments, I was amazed. It probably got straight A's at the same time, right? But all the extracurricular activities. I think it's just wonderful. And take my hat off to you, too. Thanks.
Thank you both.
Thank you.
All right, now we move on to 10B, which is a department report from our brand-new Community Events Endowment Fund Grant Award program, which is being run by, give me the name of the committee again. There you go. Community Funding Review Committee. It's kind of a blanket committee that covers it all. And Ann's here tonight. Good to see you, Ann.
That's nice
How
to
you
see
been?
you. Well, thank you.
Good. And you're the chair.
I am.
How about that?
How about that? Hi.
Ann's here. Well, thank you for chairing this brand new committee. And it's, as I said, I think it's a kind of an overall committee to review all our grants now.
Yes.
So tell us how you've been doing.
Okay, so good evening, Mayor Pro Tem Adam and council members and friends. And I wish Mayor McCoy safe travels back. We also got stuck in weather, and that is no fun. It is my pleasure to be here this evening to present the Community Funding Review Committee's recommendations for the city's fiscal year 2019-2020 Community Events Endowment Fund, or CEEF grants. The city's CEEF grant funding is included in the adopted fiscal year 2019-2020 budget. The grant provides $100,000 of funding to support the events of local nonprofit, community, and school groups. In order to qualify, applicants must be 501c3 non-for-profit organizations located in or primarily serving the Thousand Oaks community. Qualifying events must provide a benefit for the community and a wide cross-section of Thousand Oaks residents. Of the $100,000 allocated, $15,000 is retained for off-cycle funding requests for new events which arise throughout the year. This provides $85,000 for award through the CEEF application process. The application period was open from March 15th to April 25th, 2019. The application was available on the city's website. Email notifications were sent to applicants from the previous 2 grant cycles, a press release was published, and the city utilized social media to notify the community of the grant opportunity. City staff held an application workshop on April 10th for any groups which were interested in applying for the grant or which had questions regarding the application. 15 individuals representing 13 organizations attended. This year, the process was slightly different than in past years because this was the first grant to be undertaken by the newly formed Community Funding Review Committee, or CFRC. Members of the CFRC were appointed by City Council on April 23rd and were sworn in their new roles on May 2nd, 2019. At the initial meeting, CFRC members were provided with the applications for the city's CEF grants. The city received 24 applications with grant requests totaling $136,566. CFRC members reviewed and evaluated the applications independently and objectively using predetermined scoring criteria on the grant application. Application scores were provided to city staff for tabulation, and the scores were used to apply grant distribution, which was decided upon at the May 2nd CFRC meeting. Applicants received a percentage of allocated grant funds based on the range of their average score. Of the 24 applications, the committee objectively evaluated 20 to have adequately fulfilled the necessary criteria. Unfortunately, 4 applicants scored below the threshold set to qualify for funding. Staff will be following up with these organizations to provide feedback on their applications. The CFRC met on May 9th, 2019, to approve the funding allocations as distributed by the application scores. To maximize the impact of the grant funds, each qualifying application received a weighted distribution. The CFRC is recommending grant funding for 20 organizations for a total of $84,722. These are the 20 organizations being recommended for funding. The represented events meet the criteria for benefiting the community and a wide cross-section of residents. These include educational events, community events, and artistic and cultural events. The Community Funding Review Committee recommends that City Council award the fiscal year 2019-2020 CEEF grants as presented by the committee with a total award of $84,722. This concludes my presentation this evening. An assistant to the City Manager, Melissa Hurtado, and Deputy Cultural Affairs Director, Jonathan Surratt, and I are available for your questions. Thank you so much, and it's nice to see everyone.
Thank you, Ann. Councilmember Bill LaPena.
Thank you. Thank you for this report for the inaugural committee and different, same mission, but a different way to go about selecting the applicants. And what I see is, it appears to me that there were fewer applications this year than last year. And why was that? Do we know why?
I was not involved with this particular grant last year, so.
Thank you, Councilmember. We last year had 36 applications, I believe it was, that we had received. The previous year was 26. So we have seen some fluctuation year over year. We did notice this year that there were some of the booster clubs associated with the schools which did not apply. So I'm not sure if that's just projects that they were no longer pursuing and if they were maybe going in a different direction with different activities.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Well, thank you, Chair Ann LaFianza, for being the inaugural chair of this new committee, and I'm sure we'll see you again because you're going to be overseeing all of our different contributions around the community. And I just want to say that I'm glad that you have reserved the $15,000 because that does come in handy. We've had a few situations where we were very glad we had that $15,000. Councilmember Bill LaPena will remember one way back when with Cabrillo Music Theater, right? Which was helpful to keep that wonderful organization afloat. So good move there. And he came right up to the 85,000, 84,000, whatever, 720. Good job. So with that, may I get a motion, please? And Claudia Bill LaPena, if you would.
Move to approve the committee recommendations.
All right.
I believe it's 1 and 2.
And if we can prepare the vote.
The motion carries 4-0 with Mayor McCoy absent.
Thank you very much. City Manager Powers would like to make a comment. Thank you.
I just wanted to take a moment, as the council alluded to, it's a new structure of the committee, a larger committee with more responsibility. I just wanted to take a moment to thank Chair LaFianza. She's done a great job sort of pulling a group of newcomers together and bringing some bonding and unity there. And they have busy work ahead over the next 2 years of cycle. So just wanted to say a quick note of thanks for helping a new committee get off the ground.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure.
Very good. All righty, we're just about going to wrap it up here. I don't believe there's any reports on meetings or conferences attended by my fellow council members. So, Mr. Powers, would you like to follow up with anything?
Sure. Just really briefly, our next meeting and our last meeting before council recess will be 2 weeks from tonight on the 9th of July. 2 special presentations. So we'll receive our fair poster presentation and a presentation from 5 Star Theatricals. Have a public hearing. It's going to be a TEFRA hearing for Mini Mansions on Bella Vista. An update from TO Arts on operations and programming. We'll have a municipal code initiation of an amendment relating to biotech, consistent with one of council's goals. And we'll have our annual report from the Council on Aging. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Powers. There is No closed session this evening, and we have no public notices, so I'm going to adjourn this meeting to our regular scheduled meeting on July 9th, and thank you all for coming. Good evening.